My question for you is this. You had a statement where you said during Occupy Wall Street, don't blame Wall Street, don't blame big banks. If you don't have a job and you're not rich, blame yourself. If that's the case, how would you account for the poverty situation today? Is it people living in poverty's fault? Or how would you expound on it?
It's not people who are living in poverty's fault. If you have an economy that's not growing, 14 million people out of work, millions more underemployed, that's what's keeping people in poverty. The statement that I made wasn't directed at people in poverty. It was directed at people who were occupying Wall Street. Two different groups.
Okay.
That's two different groups.
Okay.
And so I'm saying the people that were participating in Occupy Wall Street should be directing their frustrations at this administration. This administration has failed economic policies, has not grown this economy. This administration spent $1 trillion to stimulate the economy. It didn't. This administration had proposed another $450 billion approximately. The president hasn't been able to get all of that. This administration has put additional legislative burden on businesses with Obamacare. This administration has abused its regulatory power, such as the situation trying to intimidate Boeing to not expand in South Carolina. This administration is where that frustration ought to be directed, not at Wall Street. Now, did Wall Street and the banks have something to do with the meltdown of 2008? Yes. But, they are not the culprit to the wealth gap. They're not the culprit. Failed policies of this administration.
Do you, just one follow-up to that, I mean, there is a lot of data indicating that the wealth gap and the income gap are growing in this country. Do you have a strategy beyond generating more economic growth overall? Do you have a strategy for trying to close the income gap and the wealth gap in this
Yes,
country?
we call them opportunity zones. Opportunity zones will identify cities. Detroit is one that we did a press conference there, where under our new economic growth and jobs plan, they will be allowed some additional incentives in that structure to help them basically empower themselves. Because if you look at where a lot of the poverty is, it's concentrated in some areas of a city, sometimes a whole city. So for example, the 999 plan. The 999 plan, businesses are able to deduct purchases. They're able to deduct capital expenditures. They're able to deduct net exports, which helps us to level the playing field of U.S. made products. But in an opportunity zone, they may also be allowed to deduct some or all of their payroll to give them an additional fighting chance, so to speak. And so those are the kinds of things that we will be able to do. That's the strategy, is to put them in a position that will help attract businesses to these areas, help businesses that are in these areas. And then the other thing about this is we set aside in our analysis money already for the opportunity zones. So this will not take away from the 999 plan, generating a minimum of the revenue that it's collecting from 5 sources.